Dr. Kamran Khan and Syed Mohammad Qasim. So it's my great pleasure to talk to both of you. Really, always learning from your pictures. And yeah, let me introduce first Syed Mohammad Qasim Bhai, a good friend of mine, but he's a senior management executive, I can say, worked with many organizations in different positions and different forums, and coming from the diverse corners, from Hindustan Times to various different business groups. But one of his passion that connect him today with Kamran Bhai is of photography. And he's a passionate photographer who is working with the nature photography, heritage photography, and also with the street photography. And Kamran Khan is a doctor by profession. He is working as a medical officer in Badaयूं. And also he is passionate with the journey of photography, like from almost more than a decade. And he has also captured from Kumayu Hills to the different small towns surrounding Bareilly and other places in India also. So today our talk will be in conversation with both of them, along with their visual sharing. They are going to share with us some of their good photographs that really capture the essence of the context or the background what they have captured really. तो आदाब कासिम भाई और अपने तमाम दोस्तों को और कामरान भाई को. तो मेरा पहला सवाल कामरान भाई से है, वो कासिम भाई से है. कासिम भाई ये
रेहान भाई एक सेकंड, ये हमारी
how your journey was started, ये पैशन कहाँ से शुरू हुआ, कैसे शुरू हुआ ये?
So the photography I was in love with, I think since maybe around graduation time, when I had my small cameras with reels and all. But I started massively after being into job when I could afford good cameras, and the initial days my focus was more on heritage photography, but somehow when you read about history, it's all about Ashoka killing 100 brothers to become a king, and Aurangzeb killing 4 brothers to become a king. It was very sickening. So I gradually shifted from heritage photography to many other forms of photography, street photography, and my idea is very simple. Whatever I do, I try to gather happiness through that. I didn't want to get sick because something happened 500 years or 5,000 years in the past. So I thought, one of the best way to be happy is to meet with people, to know them, and to try to understand them, and to interact with them. And street photography, people photography, travel photography, nature photography, all these forms of photography are very, very happiness giving. So this is how I still do a lot of photography, in the heritage zone, but my focus has shifted massively towards travel, people, candid, street portraits, trying to capture documentary, culture, and heritage. I mean, cultural heritage of India, natural heritage of India, and this is where huge fun is there. I mean, so much learning, so much happiness, and you simply know the real beauty of India, which is there. I mean, you would have heard our India's Incredible India campaign. Yes. My experience of India says India is more than incredible. If you try to see the real facets and beauties of India hidden in various forms. So that's how I gradually shifted, and one of my passion has been knowing things, and knowing people, because when you know people who are around you, things who are around you, then your relationship with that deepens, and a knowledge-based relationship, is very, very happiness producing so far, at least. And camera has been my medium for all this.
So that's a great. Thank you, Qasim bhai. Kamran bhai, how your journey, because you are a medical doctor, you interact with the people in a different way on the healthcare front. Really, right now you are working with COVID duties and other work. Thank you for coming here. आपने अपना वक्त निकाला यहाँ पे आने के लिए. तो कामरान भाई, ये जर्नी आपकी कैसे शुरू हुई? किस तरह से ये मतलब फोटोग्राफी की तरफ जाना है?
रेहान भाई, बड़ी पुरानी बात है. तो उस वक्त उम्र करीब 11-12 साल की रही होगी. तो फादर के पास मेरे कैमरा हुआ करता था एल्फा का क्लिक 3. तो वो बड़ा पुराना कैमरा था और उसमें एक 120 की पड़ती थी जिसका नेगेटिव काफी बड़ा होता था और उसमें 12 एक्सपोजर रहते थे। तो वो पहली बार वो मैंने अपने फादर का कैमरा यूज किया, उसमें फिल्म लोड की और अपनी फैमिली के साथियों की, दोस्तों की फोटोग्राफ्स खींची। तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा। और उसके 1-2 साल बाद फादर ने ही, उनको भी बड़ा शौक फोटोग्राफी का रहा है, तो उन्होंने उसके बाद एक कैमरा और लिया, याशिका का MF2 था वो। तो उससे वो फिर थोड़ा सा कलर फोटोग्राफी की तरफ आए और कैमरे से मुझे बड़ा लगाव था। जब किसी के पास देखता था तो बड़ा अच्छा लगता था कैमरा देखकर। मेरे यहाँ एक प्रोफेशनल फोटोग्राफर थे, वो हमारे रिलेशन में भी थे। वो आते थे तो उनका मैं बस कैमरा देखता रहता था, उनके पास DSLR होता था। तो उस बड़ा शौक था, बड़ा अच्छा लगता था कैमरा देख करके। तो उसके बाद फिर कई साल बाद, ये भी करीब 20 साल पुरानी बात है, मैं जब बरेली आया इलाहाबाद से, तो यहाँ पर मुझे मालूम हुआ कि एक एसोसिएशन है, फोटो क्लब है, फोटो विजन। तो मुझे शौक तो था ही, तो मैं गया, उनसे मिला वहां पर और जब मुलाकात हुई बड़ा अच्छा लगा। वहाँ तस्वीरें देखी तो एक बिल्कुल अलग फोटोग्राफ्स, आर्ट फोटोग्राफी की बातें, और वो तस्वीरें बहुत अच्छी लगी। फिर मैंने वो फोटो क्लब ज्वाइन कर लिया और उसके बाद एक सिलसिला चल निकला। दोस्तों ने कहा भाई फोटो अच्छी खींचते हो, इनको भेजो कहीं सैलून्स वगैरह में पार्टिसिपेट करो। तो उसमें मैंने एक सबसे पहले फोटोज केरला में एक सैलून हुआ था, तो उसमें भेजी। तो उसमें वो प्रिंट्स मेरे उसमें से 1-2 एक्सेप्ट हुए। तो जब एक्सेप्टेंस मिली तो हौसला थोड़ा और बढ़ा। तो इसी तरह से ये चलता रहा। इसके बाद IIPC जो है, इंडिया इंटरनेशनल फोटोग्राफी काउंसिल दिल्ली में, उसकी मेंबरशिप की। उसके बाद उनके कुछ ऑनर्स होते हैं, इंटरनेशनल ऑनर्स, उसके लिए अप्लाई किया। तो आपकी दुआ से वो भी फिर मैं लाइसेंस भी हुआ, उसमें एसोसिएटशिप भी मुझे मिली उसको। तो ये सफर चलता रहा और शुरू हुआ और अब भी जारी है।
मतलब 20 साल से ज्यादा पुरानी बात हो गई है। तो
20 साल से ज्यादा पुरानी। जी
कासिम भाई, आपके फोटोग्राफ से तो हमने फॉरगॉटन मॉन्यूमेंट्स को रिलीज किया, राना पवाली किताबों को। 2 किताबें हार्पर कॉलेज में आपके हेरिटेज पिक्चर से माशाल्लाह भरी हुई हैं। दिल्ली के हर औराफ जो हैं, उसके जो पिक्चर्स हैं, दिल्ली के वर्क जब पलटे जाएंगे तो कासिम भाई का नाम उसमें कहीं ना कहीं मिलेगा, क्योंकि तारीख से आप जुदा तो हो गए लेकिन तारीख की सारी चीजें वहां मौजूद हैं उन किताबों में। लेकिन फिर रिसेंटली आपका एक शौक जो है ना, एक तो पीपल फोटोग्राफी है, स्ट्रीट फोटोग्राफी है, लेकिन उसके साथ साथ आप सोशो कल्चरल कॉन्टेक्स्ट जो है ना कासिम भाई, उसको भी बड़ी वैल्यू देते हैं। और फोटोग्राफी में सोशो कल्चरल कॉन्टेक्स्ट की एक अपनी इंपॉर्टेंस है। कभी कभी आप वो चीजें कैप्चर कर लेते हैं जो हमारे समाज के लिए या हमारी सोसाइटी के लिए बहुत जरूरी होती है। तो लेट अस टॉक रिसेंटली और इन द लास्ट डेज यू हैव डन अ विलेज म्यूजियम एक्सपीरियंस इन हरियाणा and you were talking about that. It was really an important project because it is signifying and portraying the women's and their role larger than a life. And it was really a gender biased locality where you find a lot of gender bias. There is a lot of issues related with the females. You can find the highest female feticide there. And in all these backdrop, you covered a really micro heritage and a micro cultural representing the women working on the ground. Can you please share a little bit about that project? And if you want, you can share the screen on that.
So I'd like to share 2-3 things. I have done huge work in Haryana because there are a lot of monuments which are very less known in Haryana, and huge number of because of partition and migration of Muslims from Haryana. We have a lot of monuments, and especially spiritual monuments, which are simply neglected, or they've been transformed into various other things other than what they were. So I was doing a huge number of, the journeys in Haryana, in various parts of Haryana, especially trying to locate the Sufi shrines and all. This project is slightly different. This project was done by very interesting personality called Swapna Mani. Now, Swapna is an artist, and she had collaborated with an American photographer who had sponsored a very unique project here. The idea was to take the help of photography to improve the gap. To bridge the gap between genders and improve the situation of gender, especially the women's. Haryana, as all of us know, Haryana has got very strange situation. The women of Haryana are very strong, very powerful, very smart, and their work is very commendable in their own social structure. But somehow, in some parts of Haryana, you will find women are still not, fully at par with other social, other, you can say, other states, etc. So the Swapna and team had done a very interesting product. I had captured that project. What they had done is that they had taken young kids from Gurgaon and neighboring school, and those kids had gone to 2 or 3 villages. What they did, they found out what all women do in the life of a village life of Haryana, and they were doing everything. They were into farming, they were into taking care of cattle, they were raising kids, they were cooking food, they were giving bath to those cattle. They were doing everything,
Yes.
even male do, so in practically, you see, they were at par with everyone, the males there. But somehow something very as I said, the observation or thought was that they were not, acknowledged as a equal partner, etc. So what happened, these people went and spent some time, these young students went and spent some time along with those women of those 3 villages and captured those their life as it happens. They came, they saw, they captured, and then they sent these photographs to America. In America, that the sponsoring people got those photographs enlarged into what you call gallery format, big large format, and they were candid photo. They were a candid photo of life of those women in those villages, and then those hundreds of photographs were brought back to India. These young photographers, these young kids, who were using camera as a social change medium, they went. The idea was to make an open air gallery celebrating those women of those 3 villages, and it was very interesting project. I will take you through. I'll give you a glimpse of this. I had documented them going to the village, and from early in the morning, even before they had gotten up, we went very early in the morning, and something very interesting happened. So I'll share those photographs also, but I just want to share what happened. So when we went there, these kids, along with Swapna Manning and everybody, they started beautifying those villages with the help of these photographs of women of those villages itself. Now in Haryana, where those villages, those women were in Gungat, not at par with men and all, early morning, men noticing that something is, new is happening there.
Yes.
However, we had talked to those people and all, so they let us plaster around those, village walls with photos of those women from the same village. It was very interesting. It came out very beautifully. But interestingly and very sadly, what happened was, after making those 2-3 villages look very beautiful with the help of their own photographs, there were the mothers, the sisters, and the granddaughters, or daughter-in-laws of those villages, all women. But when we went for a lunch, and when we came back after the lunch, we saw that even if the photographs were pasted on a good height,
they have been wiped off,
and they simply tore away the photographs. And
that's so sad.
So because they were very angry, because they didn't want, the women to be put up at that level. They didn't want women to be highlighted in that manner. And finally, the most, what you can say, the heartbreaking scene was that when those young photographers who were students of, I think, from say 7th to 10th, when they saw their photographs, their artwork, which was simply innocent, real life, capturing of their life, the real life situations in which there was nothing. There were innocent, pure photographs. They started weeping because they had been emotionally associated, and they were young kids. They are not imagined that now in cities, etc. Photographs are part of celebration. People share photographs and they feel happy about it. But watching their very beautiful photographs, very well captured, being broken. Otherwise, just before the lunch, when we had gone for the lunch, you would have seen, I will show you the photograph, the entire villages were looking beautiful. They were looking as if some celebration is going on. It was very innovative idea, but all those kids started, weeping, and they were sobbing, and they were like inconsolable. So we also, Swapna and the team, all of those who were there, they tried to console them, and they tried to,
heart-wrenching moments when you work so hard and it was a social cause.
With the help of camera, while we were trying, the Sub-90 were trying to put in a small change in the mindset of the men's folk there. They were also trying to, very nicely and very simply teach the kids what is the real situation of life in on a village which is just say 20 kilometers or maybe 15 kilometers, hardly 15 kilometers from Gurgaon, which is one of the the digital world headquarter of the digital world of the digital India. So I will take you now to that gallery, which I have titled as a village museum.
Yeah, can you show us, please?
Yeah, so I will. So we will start from here.
Yes.
So this is the So this is the beautiful. So the kids came. These are the kids who had done photography of those women in these villages. They came with the glue and all, and they started, pasting and plastering around. You can see some women and all. They are the people who live here, and they were captured in their real life. Here she is, Sapna Mani. She has done. She has coordinated this project. She was the leader of the project. She's the artist. That's how the walls look like. Here is one Ammaji from the village smoking. This is how the wall looks like. One kid taking gobar from the nearby street to her home. And you see one of the subjects who were photographed, they also were very happy to see their photographs, in on the streets.
Yeah, this is something really very incredible, and this is a tool or the power of a photography, what you can do and show to the society, a mirror image. And really
one of the old ladies, Swapna, with one of the subject. The idea of putting them on a slightly higher, higher than the normal height was so that they are there for the longer time, and the animals don't disturb them. Somehow animals didn't disturb them, but the menfolk didn't behave well. Here's a young woman who is cooking. You can see her photo is going on the wall.
Yes.
This is the young photographer. These were young students who had gone and done the photography. It was very interesting, very real project,
And can you show some what happened later on?
Yes, we are going there. I'm just trying to show you all that, and then we'll be one of the subjects. Now we are done approximately. We are going out. One man is there watching at the photograph. Now it looked like a gallery, Yeah, this is what happened. When after the lunch, we came back, the photographs were torn into pieces.
This is really a heart-wrenching moment when you work so hard, and one of the social causes.
It was a very different experience, Like this wall was at least 5-6 feet, from the ground. And then you see, all photographs gone.
Everything is wiped out.
Yeah, everything is gone. And I never thought people would be that angry with these innocent photographs, but they were.
But this is somehow you can work with your lens and you can show the glimpses of the society.
Yeah, I found it very interesting that, with the help of a camera, you can create a social,
awareness, education, yes, social awareness, education, and there are many things that can be shown. Even more than one passage, one good picture can represent lot of it. It speaks more sometimes.
So nobody was lecturizing, nobody was sermonizing. People were just the kids were doing, they enjoying camp photography. Even the villages, when we were there, they were happy. But I don't know, some men probably who didn't come out on the street when we were pasting those photographs, perhaps they were not very happy, so it could be because they didn't want the women to be on there, because privacy issues or something. But my point is that all those women, they were not in parda, they were all going around. They were like, somebody's carrying gobar, somebody's taking their cows to field and all. So there was hardly anything which was very provocative. But the men didn't like the women to be celebrated, perhaps. So that's one interesting product. This is the power of photography, and very good lessons learned.
So can we come to Kamran bhai? Kamran bhai, when we were preparing the flyers, you give me a very good images. तो आपने जो pictures मुझे दी थी, उसमें एक picture एक मोंड की थी, और वो बड़ी prehistoric picture है. तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि आप उसके बारे में कुछ थोड़ा सा share करें यहाँ पे. And if you have some pictures, you can share your screen and show to us कि वो क्या है basically. बरेली की बड़ी prehistoric site है.
हाँ रेहान भाई, वो एक prehistoric site है और उस पर काफी काम हुआ है. 1940 में वहाँ excavation हुआ था, जो ASI ने 5 years तक किया था. मिस्टर कनिंगम थे ASI में, उन्होंने 5 years तक. जी
मिस्टर कनिंगम वाला जो है वो 1875 में अर्ली एक्सप्लोरेशन हुआ था, फिर 1940 में ASI ने उसको कंप्लीट किया था.
जी हाँ, कंप्लीट किया था. देखिए रेहान भाई, तो आपके बहुत अच्छी आपको नॉलेज है. इतनी इसमें मुझे नहीं है, हिस्ट्री में इसमें कुछ कहने में शक वो भी नहीं है मुझे.
नहीं बिल्कुल कामरान भाई, ऐसी बात नहीं है.
तो आज एक अपनी फोटोग्राफ के लिए कुछ मैं देख रहा था. मैंने सोचा कि मैं सर्च करूं अली मोहम्मद खान का जो मकबरा है आंवला में.
जी.
मैंने जब उसको सर्च किया, मैंने कहा उसमें से कुछ मैं ऑथेंटिक इंफॉर्मेशन मैं देखूं उसमें. तो उसमें जब मैंने पढ़ा तो वो आर्टिकल जो है वो रेहान असद साहब का. अरे मैंने कहा ये तो हो गया साहब. वो लाइव हिस्ट्री जो है वो
आपकी भी कई पिक्चर्स उसमें यूज हुई हैं. जी आपकी भी कई पिक्चर्स.
लेकिन मुझे ताज्जुब जब हुआ जब बीच में मैंने नाम देखा कि रेहान साहब का आर्टिकल है. खैर आपका तो माशाल्लाह.
कामरान भाई, तो ये अहीशित्रा के बारे में कुछ बताएं कि ये कैसे आप पहुंचे वहां पे, क्या एक्सपीरियंसेस थे?
जी, वहाँ का एक्सपीरियंस बिल्कुल अलग है. मैं वहाँ 3 बार उसको विजिट कर चुका हूँ, और जब वहाँ पहुँचते हैं तो लगता ही नहीं है कि हम यहाँ हैं. ऐसा लगता है किसी दूसरी दुनिया में है, क्योंकि हर तरफ ब्रिक्स और सिर्फ ब्रिक्स, पॉटरी के पीसेस जो वहाँ पे एक्सकेवेशन के बाद निकले हैं बहुत, और लगता है पता नहीं कहाँ है, टीले हैं बस. और बहुत बड़ा एरिया है. वो तो एक पूरा फोर्ट था एक टाइम में. तो ये उसका जो है बड़ा तारीखी एतबार से बहुत अहमियत है, क्योंकि वहाँ पर एक्सकेवेशन में 500 to 600 BC के जो है वो उसमें एविडेंसेस मिले हैं, और उसमें कुछ ऐसी चीजें मिली हैं. एक वहाँ पर एक 600 BC की एक मूर्ति भी वहाँ से मिली है, जो नेशनल म्यूजियम में वहाँ
दिल्ली में. और
बहुत सारी वहाँ पर एक्सकेवेशन में चीजें मिली हैं. तो बड़ी ही तारीख के एतबार से बड़ी अहमियत है उस जगह की, क्योंकि हमारे यहाँ आसपास और पूरे मेरे ख्याल में पूरे नॉर्दर्न इंडिया में इस
वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट साइट है. जी वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट साइट. और रोहिलखंड की तो डेफिनेटली इस रीजन की तो ओल्डेस्ट है ही. फ्रॉम 3rd सेंचुरी और 5th सेंचुरी BC से लेके 11th सेंचुरी तक का सेटलमेंट है. तो कुछ पिक्चर्स शेयर करना चाहेंगे कमरान भाई आप उसकी? क्या
जी हाँ, मैं उसकी पिक्चर्स भी दिखाऊंगा. कुछ और इमेजेस जो बदायूं आंवला की और भी हैं, वो भी मैं चाहूंगा कि आपके साथ शेयर करूं अगर
उस पे अभी हम आते हैं. जी बदायूं और आंवला पे आते हैं. पहले थोड़ा अहीशित्रा देख के उसके बाद जाएंगे.
जी हाँ बिल्कुल.
और फिर हम कासिम भाई की नेचर फोटोग्राफी पे आते हैं थोड़ा सा. कि Kamran bhai, can I put it on the screen? Yes. This is Ahisha.
रेहान भाई बस 1 मिनट का वक्त दें।
नो डू योर टाइम, नो प्रॉब्लम, टेक योर टाइम। जब तक मैं लोगों को एश यात्रा के बारे में बता देता हूँ थोड़ा सा। एश यात्रा इज वन ऑफ द एंशिएंट साइट्स। ये एक सेटलमेंट है बरेली से थोड़ा सा 52 किलोमीटर दूर, रामनगर के पास में ये एक्सकेवेट हुआ था। फर्स्ट टाइम सर अलेक्जेंडर कनिंगम ने इसका एक्सकेवेशन स्टार्ट किया था 1875 में, एंड व्हेन ही फाइंड सम ऑफ द एक्सकेवेशंस, तो उसके बाद फिर एएसआई ने 1940 में इसको पूरा एक्सकेवेट किया, और यहाँ पे 3rd सेंचुरी, 4th सेंचुरी, इवन अप टू 6th सेंचुरी बीसी तक के सेटलमेंट मिले हैं, ह्यूमन सेटलमेंट, एंड देन इट कंटिन्यूड। आगे कामरान भाई हमारी साइड पे लेके पहुंच गए जी। तो कासिम भाई देखिए कितना खूबसूरत लग रहा है दूर से
जी
जी।
हाँ ये अब तो इसके बारे में कुछ बताएं थोड़ा सा।
जी जी, तो आप बता रहे थे, कंटिन्यू कीजिए रेहान भाई। बहुत
जी बिल्कुल। वहां पे आपने बताया ह्यूमन पॉटरी और उस टाइम के ब्रिक सेटलमेंट और बाकी चीजें, दिस कंटिन्यूड अप टू 11th सेंचुरी क्रिश्चियन एरा और एडी। और ये महाजनपदास थे, स्मॉल महाजनपदास थे, छोटे छोटे प्रिंसली स्टेट्स थे गुप्ता पीरियड में। तो एक महाजनपदा ये भी था एशित्रा, दैट वाज समहाउ द कैपिटल ऑफ दिस कटिहार रीजन, जिसको अभी हम रोहिलखंड कहते हैं या ये फिर से आप मेरे ख्याल से आपकी फोटोग्राफ चली गई कामरा में।
मैं नेक्स्ट फोटोग्राफ लगा रहा हूँ इसी की।
So you can click one by one, I think, sharing a screen.
जी। ये रेहान भाई
अच्छा कासिम भाई, जब तक हम कासिम भाई से एक सवाल पूछ लेते हैं जी। अच्छा आगे।
हाँ जी जी, थोड़ा सा बीच में
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
डिस्टर्बेंस हो रहा था जी।
हाँ, ये तो थोड़ा कामरान भाई बताएं इसके बारे में।
हाँ, ये एक और जो अभी मेन जो वहाँ पे स्ट्रक्चर थी, वो तो अभी जैसा रेहान भाई बता रहे थे, उसके साइड में कुछ और टीले भी हैं, तो ये भी एक दूसरा स्ट्रक्चर है, और उस मेन स्ट्रक्चर के पास में ही ये स्ट्रक्चर है। इसका कुछ रिस्टोरेशन भी किया गया था पिछले कुछ मेरे ख्याल से 10-15 साल पहले ही। तो ये थोड़ा सा इसका बिल्कुल जो ओरिजिनल हालत है वैसी नहीं है, आप देख रहे होंगे, थोड़ा रिस्टोर्ड लग रहा होगा ये। हाँ, क्योंकि एएसआई ने ये वहां पर काम कराया है। तो जो इससे पहले वाला है वो काफी हद तक ओरिजिनल हालत में है
जी।
और कुछ तस्वीरें आप कहें तो मैं यहाँ की क्षेत्र की शेयर करूं रेहान भाई।
बिल्कुल कामरान भाई, कोई टेंपल्स वगैरह शेयर करें अगर कोई है पास।
आई क्षेत्र की कुछ और इमेजेस हैं।
हाँ, इसी को आगे क्लिक कर लें।
जी जी।
मेरे ख्याल से कामरान भाई जो हमने फॉर्मेट रखा था दूसरा वाला कासिम भाई, दैट वाज मोर आई थिंक हैंडी, गोइंग वन बाय वन rather than closing it. It's collecting all together as we have shown this. तो कासिम भाई
जी, आई क्षेत्र आ जाएगा अभी।
आई क्षेत्र आ गया, ये आ गया। फैबुलस पिक्चर, रियली फैबुलस पिक्चर। ये
रेहान भाई बिल्कुल टॉप पर जाकर उसके ये है, और जब हम बिल्कुल टीले के ऊपर पहुंचते हैं तो यहाँ पर एक ये स्ट्रक्चर, ये पत्थर का है बना हुआ, ये वहाँ मौजूद है। आमतौर पे इसको वहाँ पर लोग, और मैंने ये देखा कि जो यहाँ के हिस्टोरियंस हैं और पांचाल म्यूजियम है यहाँ पर रोहिलखंड यूनिवर्सिटी में, उनसे बात हुई तो इसको जो नाम दिया है वो भीम गदा कहते हैं इस स्ट्रक्चर को। ये हाँ, और हाँ काफी ऊंचा है ये, और ये सिंगल पीस है स्टोन का। इसकी मैं एक और फोटोग्राफ भी दिखाता हूँ। इसमें रेहान भाई हम 1 by 1 नेक्स्ट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, हमें बार बार पिक्चर्स सिलेक्ट करनी पड़ रही हैं वापस जा करके।
मेरे ख्याल से शायद मैक की वजह होगी इसकी एप्लीकेशन।
एप्पल में ऐसे होता है।
जी जी, आप आराम से करिए, नो इश्यूज, वी आर जस्ट टॉकिंग, ये तो फन है। और दूसरा, जब तक हमारा होता है तो हम बीच में कन्वर्सेशन कर लेते हैं।
बिल्कुल जारी रखिएगा।
दिस इज अ टेंपल। इस टेंपल की क्या बैकग्राउंड है कामरान भाई?
जी हाँ, ये इसको टेंपल के बारे में भी मैं आता हूँ, 1-2 इमेजेस और दिखा देता हूँ इसकी।
ओके ओके ओके।
जी जी।
तो कासिम भाई आप आए कभी इस जगह पे, एंड आई थिंक यू विल रियली लव टू कैप्चर ऑल दीज प्लेसेस एक्सपीरियंसेस के साथ।
इस बार आप इंडिया आए तो आपके साथ एक ट्रैवल हो जाता है।
I think after lockdown you need to come here. You need to visit Badaयूं, you need to visit Bareilly, you need to visit Aula, and also Rampur. Rampur, put it all in your bucket list. Really, this will be a great experience for you.
Rampur I have visited once, but I think entire whole Rohilkhand other than Rampur is
And yes, all the area that need to be covered by your lens. I think this is really places to visit. और इसके अलावा बाकी कासिम भाई एक छोटा सा यहाँ पे जब तक कामरान भाई आ रहे हैं, हाउ डिड यू शिफ्टेड टू ट्रीज? हमारा अगला सवाल यही होगा ना अभी।
नहीं, हम तो ट्रीज से हम शिफ्ट नहीं हुए, ट्रीज पे हम पहुंचे, हम अभी कहीं से शिफ्ट नहीं हुए। तो जी, ये भीम गदा कितना खूबसूरत है ये।
हाँ, ये रेहान भाई मैंने
two small kids also being here.
जी हाँ। इससे ह्यूमन फिगर होने से फोटोग्राफ में जो हमारा ऑब्जेक्ट है उसमें डायमेंशंस भी मालूम हो जाती हैं। तो ये हम करीब 70-75 फीट की हाइट पर हैं और वहां से ये दिखाई दे रहा है।
That's really great.
जी, मैं जब तक दूसरी इमेज
कासिम भाई, the issue is that ये ट्रीज वाला फैसिनेशन कैसे डेवलप हुआ? जब तक हम इस पे बात करते हैं,
ट्रीज का पहली बात तो मैं शिफ्ट नहीं हुआ। मैं तो हमेशा ट्रीज की मोहब्बत तो हमारी पुरानी, हम लोग बचपन से ही बागों में रहने वाले लोग हैं, है ना, हर फसल में, हर आम की बहार में, और अपने बागात भी हैं, है ना। तो ट्रीज से मोहब्बत तो पहले से थी, उनसे मोहब्बत दिखाना हमने शुरू किया अभी कुछ दिनों पहले 2-3 साल पहले से, जब हमने फोटोग्राफी शुरू करी। और देखिए, मैंने आपको बताया कि मेरा जो मोटो है वो है कि खुशियां ढूंढी जाएं, हाउ टू गैदर हैप्पीनेस। एंड इन अ सिटी, even in a city like Delhi, you got huge number of very, very interesting trees with huge history. So you got trees. So if you ask me, we have got trees which are as old as 600 years, you know, in or more old than this, you know, in Delhi. Now, so I find history in trees. I find, you know, spirituality in trees. There are trees which are blessed by Sufi saints. There are trees which are worshipped. There are trees which are giving power to people. So much is happening in the world of trees. So I do a lot of storytelling around trees these days.
हमारा अगला सवाल जो है बुजुर्ग ट्रीज पे ही होगा, और I think I will love to see some of the pictures from that old trees.
Sure.
ये तस्वीर इसलिए दिखाई है कि इसमें ब्रिक्स का जो साइज है वो आप देखिएगा, और
ब्रिक है ये।
Yes,
हाँ,
yes, this is a brick.
ये उसी पीरियड की ब्रिक है। 16x11 इंचेस की ये इसका लंबाई चौड़ाई है, और इसको ये पूरा ईंटों का ही है। इसको ईंटों का शहर भी कहते हैं। बहुत से स्टूडेंट्स ने ईंटों के शहर के उसमें भी लिखा है इसे। तो ये है। मैं दूसरी तस्वीर अब मैं रेहान भाई कुछ बदायूं से की तस्वीर और मैं दिखाता हूं।
Kamran bhai will come on Badaयूं and Bareilly and other heritage just after taking question of Qasim bhai, because this will give us a new folder for you, because we are going in the different historical period. So Aishatra, Kamran bhai has shown Aishatra, or what do you exactly pronounce, Kamran bhai?
Aichhatra,
because Chhatra is Kshetra or the region, and this is really for the history lovers. You need to visit this site, because this is one of the oldest site that is in the region, well preserved. From you can find traces from 6th century BC to 11th century Christian era, and really this is a very huge treasure of Rohilkhand to have Aishtra in that region. So Qasim bhai, let's come to our Buzurg trees of Delhi, because we are switching our topic between trees and heritage. This is really
right. So
two different themes, but connected by a photograph.
ये तो बहुत मजेदार है।
So I will now do what I'll do is, instead of talking too much, I'll start from my trees. You know, I'll show my trees, and
so
I
can I share it on the screen? Yes.
Yeah. So something very interesting. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Qasim. Yes, carry on.
Yeah. So so I have selected some 10 trees which I call the sacred trees of Delhi. There are many Buzurg trees, which means old trees, but time is not there to show all of them. I will be sharing 10 sacred trees of Delhi, which are mix of which government has declared as the natural heritage of Delhi. So what has happened in the past? Very recently, government of Delhi has declared 18 trees as natural heritage trees of Delhi. So they have been given the status of natural heritage. One of the interesting tree is this tree. This is a banyan tree near the memorial near India Gate. Near India Gate, you would have seen a memorial in the memory of the martyrs of Indian Army has been created recently. So something very interesting happened. So I knew that this tree is there. So I thought, so when all the trees were being felled and when all those old things which were there before this memorial was built, I thought, let me make a photograph of this. Maybe people will cut it. So when I went there, it was under the army, and army people asked me, we will not permit you to take photograph. So I thought, who is your boss? There was one senior army official. They asked us to go there. So I went to meet that guy. And like an army, no-nonsense person, he was a very nice person. He was a South Indian gentleman, senior army officer, but in charge of the project. So I went there and I told them, I was with one of my friends, Chandan, and we both went there and I told them that we want to photograph because maybe this is not part of your plan for the memorial in the memory of the martyrs of India. So he said, what is that? So he became very curious. So we told them that this tree is more than 100-year-old tree, and this tree has been declared the natural heritage tree of Delhi, and so I want to take it as a record. So he said, so he just stood up and he thanked us that we told him about this tree. He said, we did not know about that. We would have cut this tree down also because we were trying to make a beautiful memorial and this would have come in the way of that. So you see, just near the main memorial building, which is slightly, like a sunken garden, just there only one big tree has remained. So one thing is that our quest to document it for the last time led to giving this tree a new life. This is one of the very interesting things. So after the entire memorial came up, I went and I saw. I could not meet that army person to personally thank him for saving it, but our visit on that day to photograph was able to save this tree from being cut down. So this is one of the interesting trees, one of those 18 trees which are more than 100-year-old trees in Delhi, and one of the memorial, one of the natural heritage tree. That's one. And then the next tree is very interesting tree. This is a baobab tree in Buddha Jayanti garden. Now this is all baobab trees are very interesting trees in India. These trees are called Gorakh Imli because one saint, Gorakhnath Baba used to sit under this tree and do a lot of preaching.
I think they came from Africa.
They are basically African tree, African tree, and they are very famous.
Of them in Sudan and other places.
If you would have heard the story of those Ali Baba and Charlie Store kind of thing, all those thieves used to hide in the big hollow, bole trunk of this tree. This tree is also very interesting in Africa. People, there's a lot of water stored in this tree. You see, the trunk is very big. Though it is a young tree. This is one of the biggest tree of Delhi in baobab category. Now, these trees are called the oldest organic monument over the planet. One of the oldest. These trees are one of the oldest organic monuments. Perhaps the oldest recorded baobab tree in the world is 3,000-year-old. We are happy. 3,000 year, more than 3,000 year old. We are happy that there are some baobab trees here. I will show you something more about this tree. This is in Buddha garden. So this is also it is said that Lord Krishna has got this tree from heaven so that her wife Rukmini can offer them in prayers, and the flowers are very beautiful. You see,
Yes.
These are the flowers of this tree.
Beautiful.
Now, in the past, people used to tell that, oh, it doesn't flower in Delhi, but it does. So I recorded it last year. This year I could not, though it is the time around June they start flowering and then they'll go on flowering, So very beautiful flower. And then I will show you one more photograph of this baobab tree. And then, yeah, see, very beautiful. The flower is very beautiful. They hang like from upside down. And this flower is worshipped so now I'll tell you something unrelated to Delhi, but around Baobab, there is a place called Kintur in Barabanki. Now Kintur is named after Kunti, of Mahabharata time. Yeah, there is also a tree. I will show you the photograph. This is photograph from Kintur. People worship the birds and the flowers. This is the fallen bird, and you can see people having laddu in their hand and one flower as a prasad, and they have to pay a lot of money to the pujari there to get this, and they take them. It is considered that since this is the flower from heaven, if you take it back home, you will be it will be very good, very auspicious for you. So you see, all these guys have one packet of laddu as a prasad and one flower they have been given, and they have paid money for that to price. This is from Kintur, not Delhi. So I thought I'll share. This is one of the oldest tree in North India, you can say. This is from Kintur, baobab. And you can see, I mean, this is, though the Kyudantiya and the local folklore says that this was brought during the Mahabharata time by Lord Krishna. Some people also say it was brought by Arjun, but this is basically a tree which is basically a very old tree. Now, in India, it is commonly believed that baobabs were brought by African Sufis or Arab merchants who were coming via Africa, etc. Though there are various feelings. In India, in UP, there are in many places. Even in Lucknow, there is one baobab tree. In many places, incidentally, I was able to find that Sufi Connect may be correct also. There is a very old Sufi shrine near this baobab tree in Kintur also. However, these you see the structure of this baobab tree, massive, giant.
How much old this one?
I mean, if you believe the Kivadanti there or the folklore there, it was brought by Lord Krishna himself. So you can count the age. I'll not see. My philosophy is that as a photographer, I don't talk like a historian. What is the true status? I'll say, okay, just listen to the story and be happy,
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought I'll share baobab. I'm happy. In Delhi, there are now, incidentally, in Delhi, there are many baobabs. The biggest baobab is in that place, what I showed you.
Qasim bhai, Swapna ma'am has a question. What tree you are showing? This largest, oldest tree in North India, where it is located? She's asking.
This tree is located in. This is one of the largest. There are many of similar age, but this is one of the oldest. See, this is in Kintur near Barabanki.
Near Barabanki, ma'am.
In Barabanki, that place is called Kintur. In Kintur, that old tree is there. So every time I go to my ancestral village, I stop there and just spend some time with it. See, imagine if it is true that it is brought by Lord Krishna, how old it is and how sacred. Yeah, the next tree is very interesting tree, one of my favorite trees in Delhi. This is a Barna tree. Now, Barna tree is very interesting tree. It has got, Barna is considered very sacred, and so sacred that even the name is, Krateva Adamsonsis is a very sacred tree, and I have found this tree in Muslim dargahs. When you enter the dargah of Qutub Sahab, you will find one Barna tree. I found this Barna tree in the Ghaziuddin ka madrasa. There is dargah, Sufi Saint dargah. There also it is there. And then, interestingly, this Barna tree, which I am showing you on the screen right now, this Barna tree is in Lodi Garden. Now, every morning, the big who's who of Delhi come, they pray. They offer some flowers, they make some wishes, they hold their hand. So, I mean, you can imagine if you read ancient Indian history, you will find that trees were called the temples of India. You know, they were like the oldest temples of India are supposed to be these trees. Now in Delhi, in the most modern city, we can say capital of India, you can still find people worshipping in the trees as perhaps they would have been worshipped thousands and thousands of years back. Now this is a photograph. I will show you many photographs of trees, people still worshipping, and this gentleman is worshipping, and many people come, they very reverentially bow their head or touch it, some hug it, some, and if I just if I just close up, you will see a flower bhi rakha hua hai. Somebody has come and brought in a genda flower and offered that.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yes.
You see that genda flower and white jasmine is also offered. So you see a tree, and this, you see the devotion in that gentleman. He is like fully devoted. Aankhein band hai, puja chal rahi hai. Very nice, beautiful, experience.
And
watching
probably
this.
the morning time. Probably the morning time.
Yeah, it's the morning time. Sun has started being slightly harsh, and these guys, the morning walk is over, and he's going back. So this is here, and now I'll show you.
Khalid bhai, you are right. This is a place from where exactly these trees has originated. Baobab trees from African countries, Sudan, Ethiopia.
Yeah, Madagascar and all those places. Yeah. So this is the Barna is exceedingly beautiful tree. You can see Barna flowers are exceedingly beautiful, very, very fragrant also. I'm just doing slightly, I'm just showing you the close-up of Barna. The same Barna of Lodi Garden.
Khalid, Qasim, sorry, what's the scientific name of this tree you told?
The scientific name is Cratava adansoni.
Okay.
Yeah,
because it's look their flower very, very similar to Albizia arabic. You usually share Albizia arabic.
Similar. Fairly similar. Yeah, you can see this is how it looks like, and
So beautiful.
yeah, and very interesting tree and very fragrant also. You see, I have taken a close-up shot also. You see, it's very beautiful. Yeah, and when it flowers in abundance. It flowers in like hundreds and thousands of flowers will come on the tree. The tree becomes free from leaf, and it becomes full of flowers only. So I'll go to the next. You see the same tree which I showed, which the guy was worshipping. Now it's full with flowers.
Flowers. Yes.
Yeah, full of flower. So now after this, I have come to one of the most celebrated, one of the most respected sacred tree of Delhi. Now this tree has very interesting history. This tree is called Bo tree or people, but it's a Bodhi tree basically. So it is said that if you would have heard, read the history, Lord Buddha got enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. So it is worshipped. Yeah. So what happened when Buddhism went from India to Sri Lanka? Ashoka, her daughter, they had taken a branch of this, the sapling of this tree from Bodh Gaya and planted it in Sri Lanka. So while the original Bodhi tree in India had died in the due course of time in the last thousands of years, the Bodhi tree in Sri Lanka survived because Buddhism also survives there.
I think I have read this story when it was published in Times of India when you started Wonderful Wanderer Walks. I think Mani has quoted this.
Mani has shared the history of this. So what happened when the Buddha Jayanti Park was being made? The president of Sri Lanka had sent one sample. So this tree is basically a great grandson of the original Buddha Bodhi tree, under which Buddha had got enlightenment. So in the morning, if you go, you can see one gentleman is still making a round around this. So it is, you can see this. So people come and they make a round. They take 7 round, 10 round, etc. And it is said that it brings you a lot of peace. And in any case, even if you don't believe in religion, you can see so much of greenery around you. A lot of peace will come in such a clean air of when the Delhi has a issue of air. But this tree is very sacred tree of Delhi, and I like it. Now Hindus also respect people because it is said that this tree does bring a lot of trance. Lord Krishna was sitting under the peepal tree only in trance when a Bahelia had mistook him as a Khargosh and fired him, and he fell victim to his arrow. So it is considered sacred in two manners, because Buddha got enlightenment under it and Krishna got nirvana under it. So very respectful and very sacred tree of Delhi. Big tree, it is growing very good so far. So it is in Buddha Garden. Yeah.
So now come to the Sufi shrine trees.
No, wait, there are trees. The trees are there, huh? So I will now take you the lesser historical trees, but very sacred trees of Delhi. This is a Kayam tree. This is called Krishna Kadam. So this is the Kadam under which on which Krishna used to go or climb up and do playful activities with gopis and all. And this entire area from Delhi up to Mathura, Vrindavan, you will find very fragrant, very beautiful Kayam. It's called Kayam. It's called Krishna Kadam. Delhi has a lot of trees of this sacred tree also. So this is, and the flower is exceedingly beautiful and very fragrant. So this is one sacred tree. Now, very interesting tree which I will show you. This is called Kamandal tree. If you would have seen sadhus carry one kamandal in their hand.
Yes.
Basically, that kamandal is made from this tree. You dekha
fruit of this tree, I think. Yes.
The fruit go under se kaarte hain. They take the
shell is clear off, and that hollow.
And then they make a handle on this. And this. Luckily, in Delhi, we have this kamandal tree also.
And then begging bowl of Sufi scents usually.
This kamandal is used for carrying things and begging bowl both.
Sometimes water also carried by this.
You can do multiple tasks.
When we say kasa.
Yeah, kasa also. So this is a beautiful flower of kamandal. Incidentally, the kamandal tree has very unique thing. The flower doesn't grow on the branches. Flower and the flower as well as the fruit comes on directly on the tree itself.
And interesting thing, kas is in Arabic for glass. So kasa is a bigger form of a glass. How this word came up?
Yeah. So this is kamandal tree.
Kas is a glass actually.
Okay.
So from kas it became kasa.
Yes. So this is again in Delhi. We have got this kamandal tree. A lot of sacred trees. So this is there. And now let me go to the next tree. What is after kamandal? So here is this kamandal tree. Sorry.
No, this is Bodhi one. Yeah.
Kamandal. Now.
Yes. This is really absolutely serene. Yes.
Now this tree is both buzurg as well as sacred. Buzurg means old. So as per the Delhi experts of the trees, there are 4 to 5 trees of khirni, which were supposed to have been planted by a saint called Hazrat Makhdoom Jahaniya Jahangas Rahmatullah Alayh when he was visiting Delhi. So he planted one tree in Dargah of Qutub Sahib, 2 trees. He planted one tree in Dargah of Chirag Devi Rahmatullah Alayh. He planted one tree in the Dargah of Nizamuddin Auliya Rahmatullah Alayh.
Yes.
On all the 4 trees are surviving and there.
And this is, I think, from Chirag Delhi, yeah?
Yeah, this is the mightiest, biggest tree.
Yes,
supposed to be one of the oldest tree of Delhi. Khirni trees are supposed to be very long living trees. They have been living for last thousands and 1500s of years. This tree Khirni tree is supposed to be one of the most buzurg, most old tree of Delhi, apart from being sacred. Incidentally, very, very, very juicy, very good, very sweet fruits come in this tree every year. Last year, I was gifted by the Muzawurs and all there, and I ate them also. So this is one of the most, supposed to be one of the most oldest trees of Delhi. These 4 Khirni trees, and the biggest is this. The one in Dargah Nizamuddin is just at the gate on the right side. So I'll show you. Just see how big it is.
Yeah, this is quite old.
Very big. Yeah. Apart from being oldest, it is also one of the biggest Khirni tree of Delhi.
Yeah.
So, and now we'll come to very interesting tree. This tree is called Roheda. This tree is again. This is in Lodi Garden also. This is in zoo, but this particular one is in Lodi Garden, though it is in Sundar Nursery also. In Lodi Garden, this is a tree called Roheda. Now, Roheda, interestingly, is a state flower of Rajasthan. It is supposed to cure a lot of ailments. It also is supposed to have a lot of selenium in it, and therefore it is supposed to be very good for skin diseases. So what people do, if you go to Lodi Garden, you will find people coming and putting the full pajama, full shirt, full pant, full dupatta, etc. on that, and they keep it for a few days. It is supposed that, and then they perhaps take it back to their house, and then they make the person suffering from that skin disease or whatever wear it. Now it is said it is supposed to cure them, So every time you will go in Lodi Garden, you will find the tree laden with a lot of old trees, a lot of kaple, a lot of chithule, and So yeah, so this is the tree, and you can see though one tree, one something is there, So this is there just in the main compound, and interestingly, various trees have come up from the same branch also. Very beautiful flowers come in that, but though it is in a very old and very jurjal state, but being respected and still worshipped by people in Delhi. So this is Roheda. Now I will come to one of my another interesting tree. So now this is the again this tree is called what do you call your Rudraksh. Now Rudraksh is also worship. People come in the morning, and this is Rudraksh flower. Basically, Rudraksh, they are supposed to be very sacred and very powerful and power giving. They worship people, the way we do tasbih, people do mala of Rudraksh.
Yes.
And these are beautiful flowers of Rudraksh. Now this is a hilly Himalayan tree, but in Delhi, in Lodi Garden, it is doing very good. So actually, the Rudraksh bead is the seed of Rudraksh flower fruit. So I not seen the flower fruit doing good, but at least the flowers come. So this is in Lodi Garden. I have seen huge number of very senior government officials and everybody coming and praying around this tree. This is the Rudraksh flower, very beautiful. Very delicate, but very beautiful. Now I will go to next. This is Rudraksh. Yeah, see this guy, this senior government official. Again, just as he entered the Lodi Garden from that nearby gate, he came and hugged and prayed around it, and then he went. So this is Rudraksh. Now, this is also very interesting sacred tree of Delhi. This is a Pilu tree. In Vijay Mandal, there is a dargah of a Sufi saint, and somehow the dargah is in the open, and this is basically not Pilu, a friend of Pilu, a relative of Pilu, which is called Khabbar. So Pilu and Khabbar are basically cousins. So this is Khabbar is found from Delhi up to Pakistan. Since this tree is found, similar to Meswak tree. This tree is there in this dargah, which is there in Vijay Mandal. So you will find very beautiful scene. That whole dargah has lost all the buildings and everything around it. There is a mosque you can see. All those structures have gone, but this Pilu tree is giving shade to this Sufi saint here. Incidentally, this Khabbar tree. And about the Khabbar, there is one more very interesting story. It is told that once Guru Nanak Ji was sleeping under the sun, and so this Khabbar tree was there. So he kept on sleeping for a long time. So normally what happens, when you are sleeping under the tree, when the direction of the sun changes, the shade also changes. But then Khabbar tree kept on adjusting its canopy in such a manner that the shade was always there on Guru Nanak Ji. So therefore, some Sikhs who know it, the spiritual Sikhs also respect this tree as a sacred tree. So apart from being, sacred to Muslims and people in Rajasthan and all, this is also very sacred to Sikhs.
So this is how trees connect our life to today's day.
Yeah, very interestingly. So Yeah, now I think one of the last tree was this Sheikh Hassan Tahir Sahab ki jo dargah pe ek habbar tree tha. There are many trees in Delhi, but I thought I don't want to take more time. So this is a small thing about trees of Delhi. This is dargah of Sheikh Hassan Tahir Rahmatullah Alayh in Vijay Mandal.
Can I say something,
So that's
Qasim bhai?
about it.
Those who want to be interested really to know about the trees and flowers,